screwed it up. What should we learn this week? This week I decided to learn how to do origami. I've never been able to do anything like that before. I used to fold a mean paper airplane as a kid, but I have not done any kind of like the paper crane that looks so cool. I've never done anything like that. So this week I want to learn how to do that. The only paper I have at the house is this boring printer paper. So I am going to go get some colorful bright paper and see if I can make something cool out of it. Oh, I almost forgot. My name is Luke Brown, and I try to learn something new every single week. So stick around. So I just got back from Target and I got some bright and beautiful paper. Now it is late. Now that I got my paper, I got some instructions. I'm going to give this a try first thing tomorrow morning. I guess when you start, it needs to be cut down to a square, so 8 by 8 inch. And I have this handy paper cutter here. I'm going to start with green, because that's my favorite color. Alrighty, according to my directions here, fold it in corner to corner one way. Got her 2 ways there, and now in half both ways. I guess it's kind of frowned upon to use tools when you are doing origami. Tools meaning like paper clips, anything like that. And there's a tool I read about that's commonly used where people just use a piece of bone to make sure that the folds are very tight or very like creased. So I'm just kind of running my fingernail down the crease to make sure it's in there really good. All right, so now we got this kind of just like that. Cool. So you end up with this here. Now we need to make sure all of our flaps are down towards me. And fold a corner up. It's just like that. We do it on both sides and on the back. Now we open these up, let them back out. Oh, okay. So we open it up like this, and we're trying to fold these corners back in. Okay. So now we got this big triangle looking, wait. Oh, whoops. There we go. All right, big triangle. Screwed it up. I screwed up a step and I got it wrong. So now I got to start over. There we go. What the heck? This doesn't look quite right. It kind of looks like a bird. I still don't think that's right. Man. Why isn't this working? Okay, so I think I just found out what might be the problem. When you do origami, you're supposed to use very, very lightweight paper. And this paper is 24-pound paper. Doesn't feel like 24 pounds. It feels more like a couple ounces. No, seriously, this is 24-pound paper. Normal printer paper is like 20-pound. What I need to do now is go find tissue paper, colored tissue paper. There's a Walgreens right up the street, so I'm gonna start there. So I learned a couple of cool things about origami this week. What does origami mean? Well, origami is Japanese. Ori means folding, gami means paper. So origami, folding paper, right? Kind of cool. It seems like with some things, finding the origins of it is really hard because, you know, with anything, history, it's really hard. And so all I know is it was probably from Japan and it was a long time ago. So that's where origami came from. As a lot of you probably know, the paper crane is the most famous of origami sculptures. The belief with origami is that if you fold 1,000 paper cranes, your heart's desires will come true. I'm not gonna fold 1,000 paper cranes because I'm already married to a perfect woman, so don't need to do that. All right, I found some construction paper, but I think this stuff's a little too thick, so I'm gonna pass on that. Finally found the tissue paper. Got a couple colors picked out here. Looks perfect. All right, we got Hallmark tissue paper. So the problem with the old paper was that it was so heavy that the folds weren't really working right. The folds, I mean, they worked all right, but the folds it built up too much paper, and I think it made it kind of hard to, I also probably folded it wrong. Whoa, these are big sheets. I guess it doesn't matter what size you start with, just as long as it's a square. I need one more hand. Hey, got her. This stuff sucks. Kinda got it together, but it just keeps rolling around. It doesn't hold its shape. Like, oh, the paper, since it just has no stiffness to it, just rolls all over the place. This is super frustrating. This looks so bad. Oh, looks like a very sick bird. This is the bird flu bird. What the heck? Maybe I'm just not being accurate enough on my folds. This stuff just does not fold well. It doesn't hold its folds at all. It just, every time I try to kind of mess with it, it just rolls the paper around, and I don't know, it just doesn't look very good. One more kind of paper that I have that I'm going to give a try to is printer paper. Okay. This paper is definitely somewhere in the middle. It seems to hold its fold better, and it's also not, it doesn't feel nearly as thick as that other paper did. This paper seems to be working pretty well. It definitely feels thinner, the folds are easier to make, and the folds are still clean, everything looks good, so I'm pretty happy with it so far. Alright, got the wings. Alright, sweet. Alright, so there's an actual halfway decent looking crane. All the other ones look like they got shot, but this one actually looks pretty good. Nice. I finally made an origami crane. Awesome. Alright, so I have folded a couple cranes. These two turned out pretty good. This tissue paper one is pretty... What I did find is that the thicker paper works with some of these simpler ones. Like, made this for my wife. Valentine's Day is coming up, so, you know, if you're on a budget. So I'm going to give these to my wife. They were kind of fun. These are pretty simple to make, and since they have so few folds, and so, like, they're not very complicated, you can get away with using thicker paper on these. It actually works just fine. But if they're going to be more intricate, it seems like you need kind of that thinner paper. Not this thin. This thin paper is terrible. So 20-pound paper worked really well for the cranes. The 24-pound paper worked great for hearts, and tissue paper was awful. Didn't turn out very well. So this was a good project. I got learned how to make the crane. I have the pattern memorized now. I don't even need to look at the instructions anymore. There was a lot of casualties this week, a lot of birds that didn't make it. Here's the dragon I tried making and it didn't really turn out. I need to get that right paper before I do any of those really complex ones. But I got some simple ones down pretty well. I found some videos that have really good instructions for those, so those will be linked down in the description. A lot of these videos don't say like what kind of paper to use, that kind of thing, so I would recommend 20-pound paper or less even. If you do have thick paper, I think you could make a heart out of even construction paper. So if you have that kind of paper sitting around, give it a try. And yeah, if you guys try it, send me a picture of it on Facebook or Twitter. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. Remember to be patient with this project, because if you're like me, I kind of thought I would just look at the instructions, fold it right up, and I'd be done. I probably folded 6 to 8 cranes before I finally got it right. I screwed up a lot. So be patient with these projects. They do take a while. Even one wrong fold is hard to correct in the finished product. So be patient, take it slow, and don't be afraid to retry it. That is going to do it for this video. So I hope you guys liked it. If you did, subscribe, stick around, and I will see you next week.